Still with me is Paul Harris, who is the Executive Director of Customer Experience in Curo. And Paul, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I do appreciate it. We'll finish, if we may, by your own recognition, which I'm very grateful for as well. You've kind of alluded to the fact that there are the odd problems which aren't necessarily resolved to everybody's satisfaction straight away. So, if we may, let's talk about the Housing Ombudsman. If I could say it, Paul. First of all, what do they do and how can they be of benefit?
So the Ombudsman is there for residents who are not happy about how a problem that they've had has been handled by their landlord. So the Ombudsman is available to council tenants as well as housing association customers. And they're there as a check, really, because all housing associations get complaints, and we certainly do. And if they weren't resolving those complaints fairly and effectively, then that's where the Ombudsman can step in. There have been some changes announced in the last few months, so it's actually easier now for customers to contact the Ombudsman, and they can do it sooner as well. Previously, they had to wait for a certain length of time, and they had to go through their local councillor and things like that. That doesn't apply any longer. So the process should be easy for people. Obviously, our hope is that when people do complain because we've got something wrong, we try as hard as we can to resolve that as fast as we possibly can to the customer satisfaction. Yeah. And that hopefully means that there's no need to see the Ombudsman. But if you're not happy with that resolution, then the Ombudsman's there to independently assess the situation.
That's great. Thanks for explaining that. And if people do get to the stage where the issue hasn't been resolved to their satisfaction, how do they get in touch with them?
So the Ombudsman's available online. They have a postal address as well. There's actually going to be a campaign that the government are kicking off, I think it's next week, when there's going to be a lot more promotion for people to see more about the Ombudsman and how to contact them. And, that what you would do is get in contact, explain your situation, what you're not happy about. The Ombudsman then gets in contact with us and asks for certain information, which we provide, and then they go away and do an independent assessment, and they'll come back and make a judgment. And that could be that there's been no, what they call maladministration. They'd say there's no maladministration in this case, i.e. what the Housing Association did was fine. Or they might say there's partial or full maladministration, and then they'll make an order that we have to abide by, which could be you need to pay compensation, or you need to change something, or you need to do something for the customer. So that's how it works. And again, we'd encourage people to use that process when they're not happy. We don't tend to get many cases going to the Ombudsman at the moment, which I think is a good sign. But, we work with the Ombudsman when we need to, and we'll be very happy to do so in the future.
Right. Now, when I spoke to Vic last month, one of the other things we talked about, and I think there was another piece in the press at that stage, was issues with private landlords. But I think we both agreed at that stage, certainly not a lot of private landlords have great reputations. There are some housing associations as well which perhaps haven't performed quite as they'd like. Is that why the Housing Ombudsman is actually getting more publicity at the moment then?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of this goes back to Grenfell, really, that because of that horrible disaster that happened at Grenfell, and what we saw there was, in this case, it was effectively council tenants not being listened to by their local arm's length body, which was sort of a part of the council. That as a result of all of those terrifying things, there's been quite a lot of changes to legislation the government have announced, and what they've done through several white papers that they've issued has been to expect more from landlords, which we're very happy with. I think we can definitely do more, and that's part of the reason why we want to work more closely with our residents, because we want to do this shoulder to shoulder. We want to partner with our customers so that we can make the improvements that they want to see. And part of that being more transparent and dealing with complaints better is a big part of that.
Great, okay. And finally, we're going to run through the contact details. And obviously, Paul is available to talk to you any time of the day now digitally. So at the end of this, I'll probably give out his telephone number. But before that, Paul, people do want to give you some more feedback on behalf of Curo, or just generally get more involved themselves. How do they go about doing that?
Well, there's a number of ways you can do that. We run a Facebook Live session every month. I can't remember the date of the next one, but it will be advertised on Facebook. So if Facebook's your thing, you can join me and one of the other exec team members, and we're live every month for an hour in the evening, 7 o'clock. often on a Tuesday, but not always. And people can just turn up and put their comments on the system there, and we'll try and address them if we can. So that's an easy thing you can do if you like Facebook. You can get in contact with us through our website. There's an inquiries email address there where you can contact us and just let us know something. Or you can ring us up and ask to speak to someone in particular. If you want to complain about something, then we can put you through and get a complaint managed. If you've got some feedback about a particular service, then we'd love to hear from that. And again, you can do that on our main telephone number. But, there's a lot of different ways. And if you go to our website, there is a section there called Getting Involved, and that shows you all the different other ways you can get involved with us if you've got a particular interest in the quality of your estate, for example, or if you're disabled or any of the other things. We've got specific groups for them, and it shows you on the website how you can get involved there.